during my like trial, my hearings with the harmful Judge Ousley. He's running for sheriff, and I didn't realize this until a moment ago. But apparently, this has been in the making for a while now. The news announced who the qualified members are on August 12th. So about August 12th to September 2nd. So 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So this was announced 2 or 3 weeks ago in the news. So that's kind of new. But I started getting feeds popping up in my Facebook about Steve Pezant for sheriff. That's Pezant, sheriff of Natchitoches Parish. So it's concerning to me. I had experience with Steve in my hearings. He was at every one, pretty much. He was at pretty much every single hearing I had with Judge Ousley, and sat through my 7-hour trial. At the end of my trial, he was the one to search me and find my voice recorder and seize it. Steve Pezant seized my voice recorder, and he went straight for it. He went straight for the upper left pocket. Okay? Straight for it, because he knew, as he put me in handcuffs, then searched me, put me in handcuffs. Judge Ousley ordered me to be incarcerated right in the courthouse, right in the courtroom for 30 days. And Steve Pezant was the first. Well, he arrested me. He put me in handcuffs and then searched me, going straight for my voice recorder pocket. He's like, "Oh, what's this?" And then I've learned. And then Judge Ousley got back on record. We went off, and Steve put me in handcuffs, torture cuffs, and then took my voice recorder. And he's like, "Oh, what's this, Judge? Look at this, Judge. Look at this." He actively got the judge's attention with my voice recorder. He could have just seized things, but he had to get the judge's attention. Okay? He's dirty. So the judge is like, "Oh, let's go back on record. Let's get back on record for this. All right, Travis Hands, you got a voice recorder. What's this for, boy?" And then he had me they took me out of handcuffs and told me to play my voice recorder. No, first I was sat in handcuffs as Steve fumbled trying to play my voice recorder, and he got too confused about about a voice recorder, about how to work it. So then I think Judge Ousley told him to take me out of handcuffs, and Judge Ousley told me to play my voice recorder, and that's where I tried to play it, and it said it was a corrupted file. But it was up to good old Steve to let Judge Ousley know I had the illegal voice recorder. Steve Pezant for sheriff, guys. Support him all the way, because he loves to step on your constitutional rights. So this is that character. You can see plenty of pictures of this guy. He's posting his face all over. He's posting his face on Facebook and also yard signs. Now I'm like, okay, who am I to say don't vote for Steve Pezant or Pezant? Without mentioning somebody else that you could vote for. And I'm looking at the alternatives here, and I'm thinking Michael Wilson probably he's a Democrat. He looks like your best choice, because Steve Pezant will violate your rights. He'll put your handcuffs on too tight, especially if you don't like you. He'll sit through Judge Ousley's clearly violating your rights, denying you a a free lawyer when you're entitled to one. Steve will just sit there smiling away. He'll sit there telling pig farmer Robert Parker not to hand me notes anymore. He was like, no more handing Travis those illegal notes during his trial. No communication silently that's not disrupting the court process. You look at my trial transcripts. Did anything look like anything was being disrupted by note handing? It was more a matter of Prosecutor Benjamin not liking me getting those notes, and he brought it to the judge's attention. It was only making Prosecutor Benjamin upset. It wasn't disrupting the court process. But that's just how they play it. And then good old Steve Pezant was right there to say, no more notes. Don't you hand that note. And out of fear, Robert complied. He sat right behind me, and he was passing me notes. And then the prosecutor, Benjamin, said, stop it. Travis is sounding too much like a lawyer. He's doing too good of a job defending himself, so stop it. Okay, Robert Parker seemed to have given too much inspiration during my trial, and they had to put a stop to that. And yes, they disrupted my ability. They disrupted my ability to get a free lawyer, to get notes passed to me, to get any advice. They shut down and just disrupt. That's their whole strategy. And whoever's watching, if you donated to my GoFundMe, thank you for that 20K. My lawyer's got it all. He's gone through the process. We're sitting here waiting for the Supreme Court to decide. It's been like 10 months now or something. But Steve Pezant was there the whole time, and now he's trying to become a bigger shot, big shot, going from, because he's during my trial, during my criminal, my criminal case is still ongoing, but while I was in Natchitoches putting up a fight, Steve is a city marshal, so city marshals will sit in the courtroom and just make sure that things are not getting out of order. They'll arrest people. They'll look intimidating. They'll check people at the door for whatever. He could have checked. It was entrapment for me. They could have checked me at the door for my voice recorder, but they were happy to let me walk in with my voice recorder, and then steal it from me. They'd rather steal it after I'm convicted than before I walk in. All right, that's just how they roll. That's how they work. So Steve was through it all, and he's gotten this training. He's a guy who supports the harmful Judge Owsley. Yeah, Steve was a bailiff. They call him the city marshal. I guess he's a bailiff plus other duties. Not flag duty though, because I asked one of the marshals about flag duty. So they let their flags get torn up in front of the courthouse. They have a bigger Louisiana flag than the United States flag, and then let the flags get all torn up. And the city marshals can't be bothered with that kind of duty, something that's kind of a simple duty to have. They just sit there in the courtroom, and we could look out the windows of this courtroom at the flag all torn up, hanging on a tree limb, and they could just sit there in the courthouse looking out the window, seeing that, and just be like, huh. Just look at the torn up flag outside your courthouse and just be like, They have no responsibility, not much. They keep their responsibilities in a position where they can violate. They take on the responsibilities where they can violate your constitutional rights. They like those. They don't like them when they're held accountable, like tending to your flag. Nothing like that. That's probably like cleaning the floor to them. Tending to the flag to the city marshal in Natchitoches is like cleaning the bathrooms in Natchitoches. All right, that's the same. Probably the same attitude they have. Probably because it goes back to losing the Civil War, so they want to let their flags get all tattered up just out of spite. This whole system is set up in a spiteful manner, and it doesn't get checked, and it should get checked by not electing Steve Pezant to this position, to the sheriff. And let me just say, I was able to make comments on Steve Pezant for Natchitoches Parish sheriff. I was able to comment, and I'd made some comments. We'll see how that goes. But I've been blocked on Natchitoches Parish Sheriff Facebook. I'm blocked. I could see other people making comments, the approved comments. Okay, the people who are who have good things to say to the parish, to the sheriffs, but not me. I'm blocked. And so then the next best thing I could do is share their posts and then make comments on my own page. Let's exchange IDs, or people who people who called the cops or want to exchange IDs with Travis Hines. And now for some reason their posts aren't even showing up on what I'm sharing. It's like I got my comment still shows, but now they're saying that their posts are unavailable on my own page for some reason. They've limited, the sheriffs of Natchitoches have limited their posts to only select people somehow. So if you looked on my Facebook, you'll see that I got these comments: "Burn Louisiana, burn," because Louisiana's on fire, and they were like, "Don't burn Louisiana." They had this picture, and they wrote words, "Don't burn Louisiana." I'm like, please burn Louisiana. I'm just being facetious, or just being I see. The thing is with these guys, I don't believe a lot what they say. They lie a lot, all right, and they don't want to prove if they're right or not. They just want to use their hallucination. They just want us to rely on their hallucinations. And let's see, they've been posting a lot about fires that have been going on around Louisiana. It's so dry, the swamps are on fire in Louisiana, around Natchitoches. Not so much the southern part of Louisiana, that's way too wet. But the more further northern parts apparently are getting more fires. And they're saying, oh, it's 200 acres, 400 acres going up in flames here and there around Natchitoches County. And I'm responding, I'm posting on my own page saying that I think it's more like 100 acres. I think they're inflating the fire, because what they do is they take advantage of these environmental crises like the hurricanes. They try to take advantage of that free federal money that they can make off of disaster relief, and get a little bit more, ask for a little bit more, claim that there's worse environmental issues than there actually are. And then when they get the money, they divert it into other accounts. They do it consistently. You could see that in a lot of their dealings. They get like $5 million for water treatment, and then a few months later, about 7-8 months later, you see in the news, oh, the brown water is safe. All right, they get $5 million for water treatment plants, a brand new water treatment plant, and then 10 months later, oh, the brown water is perfectly safe. All right, that money went somewhere else. Clearly, they have this system set up where they can divert their money, and it's just, yeah, it's hard to believe that and this is the sheriff department. they're blocking me, and they're blocking also me sharing their posts by not showing the posts that I'm sharing. And that's under the leadership of Stuart Wright. He's running again. There's three guys running for sheriff. Steve Pezant, who's a marshal, city marshal. Stuart Wright, the current sheriff, and then a Mike Wilson. Now, Steve Pezant and Stuart Wright have NP. I think that means non-political. They're not choosing a party. And Michael Wilson is choosing Democrats. I think Michael Wilson's the guy. I mean, without knowing his background, already, him saying Democrats, choosing Democrats, Michael Wilson, I think he's the better choice already. Because these guys that aren't even choosing a party, NP, probably non-political, non-partisan, they're very partisan. It's more like non-constitutional. They don't choose to follow the Constitution. I think NP has something more to do with just corruption in some way. All right, so that's a concern to me. Oh, also, I see that Dave Stamey is unopposed as a clerk of courts. And Dave Stamey yelled at me on camera on my channel about recording the clerk of court's office and how I'm not allowed to. And then he chased me down the hall as I'm trying to walk out of the courthouse. And he's telling me, "Oh, you can't do that. Stop this guy. He's illegally recording." He tried to talk a cop into arresting me as I was, those cops at the front doors who check you in the machines. They tried to get the cop to arrest me because I had a camera. He's got a camera. He can't do that. It was just, and this guy is running unopposed. He's not sweating a single drop because he's not worried about his position. And so he can get away with acting like this. All right. And it's amazing to me, clerk of court, you'd think people might be interested in that. But not in Natchitoches. All right. There could be other towns, there could be other cities where there's like 10 candidates, but you come to Natchitoches, it's only one. But there's 3 guys running for sheriff, and one guy, I got my he's got the sneaky camera. There you go. Who said, Zap knows. He's got the sneaky camera. What are you doing with that sneaky camera? It's illegal to use the sneaky camera. And then I was told that there was a county commissioners meeting, and they discussed the use of spy pens. They said no spy pens are allowed in our county commissioner meetings. And that happened after I used my spy pen and uploaded it. I don't know if I had any effect on that, but that's interesting how these commissioners would announce no spy pens during our commissioner meetings. They close off. They not only shut off paperwork, they not only deny you paperwork of your public information, they also want to keep meetings, verbal discussions, very limited too. I mean, they could say no spy pens in our commissioner meetings, but what if somebody did slip one in? What are you going to do about it? All right, you gonna arrest them for First Amendment issue, something you want to take up to a higher court? That's the thing. They don't get challenged enough in higher courts. So Steve Pezant, we got a guy here who is the current city marshal, and we know each other quite well. He sounded very interested in hearing that I was a veteran, all right? But I didn't want to talk about anything with that guy. I'm sitting in the back of his car. He's taking me to jail. I'm in handcuffs. And he's like, "Oh, are you a veteran?" When he picked me up, when Steve picked me up from jail after about 26 days in, I finally secured a lawyer, when I saw him, we made eye contact. I just immediately looked away, and he felt a little dissed. All right, I wasn't happy to see him again. I mean, I wasn't happy being in jail. Look less doughty these days. So he put the handcuffs on a little tighter on the way back to court, and that was just for meeting the judge and to discuss my release. It wasn't actually even my release. Judge Owsley wouldn't allow me to get out on my own recognizance. So after 26 days, I went to Judge Owsley's court, and this wasn't on Zoom like the guy before me was held. He had a trial on Zoom, 2 trials on Zoom. How efficient! And that was 2020, 2021, but in 2022 they drove me to the courthouse because COVID was over, and discussed releasing me, discussed the jurisdiction of Judge Owsley, which Judge Owsley has no jurisdiction over me with this case at the moment. Only the Supreme Court does. But for a while, Judge Owsley and the Third Circuit Court of Appeals both had jurisdiction over me. And then the Third Circuit Court of Appeals found a way to end Judge Owsley's jurisdiction, so he couldn't demand $405 from me every 3 months, make me go down to Louisiana and tell him, no, I'm not paying you. It's in the Supreme Courts. I would be going down, or me or my lawyer would still have to go down to Judge Owsley's courtroom to tell him that no, we're not paying the $400. If the Third Circuit Court of Appeals didn't say that that Judge Owsley did a harmful thing denying me a free lawyer. But that was all the further they were willing to go with it. They were only willing to just say everything else looks good, just you were denied a free lawyer. But yeah, my whole defense was pretty much done by myself. So the process that looked good was all that things that I did myself, not something a lawyer would engage in. So I was at a bit of a disadvantage because I was denied a lawyer, and things didn't go the way I needed them to make this case drop. Now I'm still tied. They're still holding on to like $1,500 of this. What is it? It's a bail, a bond. That was quashed. All right, the bond was quashed, but they still got the money. I haven't gone down to pick it up. Paid out of I'll just say my pocket, hypothetically. All right, it's not being held by any licensed bond agents. So it's paid out of my pocket. They're still holding on to it. I don't know who exactly has that money, that $1,500. It doesn't get interest. They're not charging a fee to hold it. I don't know the time limit, how long they can hold it before they just say, oh, it's lost. I don't know how that works exactly. Still haven't really looked into it. It's just kind of we're waiting on the Supreme Court to make a decision, and that's affecting how I approach the bail thing. It feels like I'm just kind of giving Natchitoches $1,500, and they love taking money. They don't really love giving out money. Okay, like as in a lawsuit. They like, they like spending some money if they feel it defends themselves. Like when they hired those lawyers out of Alexandria to argue against me getting the police policies. And I'll just say, after my my first hearing, I asked about the pricing for the transcripts of that first hearing, and didn't get an answer right away. I go to the library, and an hour later, Steve Pezant, the guy running for sheriff, all right, he comes to the library. He knew exactly where to find me, on the bottom floor in the library. He comes up to me and said, and I recorded it. All right, I got him on camera telling me that, oh, the transcripts are going to cost like $150 for like 5 pages. So I need to pay right away so they get started as soon as possible. He was the one who took it upon himself to come down to the library to tell me about the cost for those transcripts, because that's a sale. You know, he knows where to find a good sale. All right, that's to tell me the cost and about the transcripts. He's into that money making scheme that this court system has set up, and he'll get into an even bigger money making scheme if he becomes a sheriff. He's probably made pretty good money as a city marshal, knowing all the ins and outs, and working with. I would love to see Judge Owsley endorse Steve Pezant as sheriff. Right? The harmful Judge Owsley endorses City Marshal Steve Pezant. They have a close working relationship with each other. I mean, he's a city marshal. He's not county marshal. He doesn't. I don't think Steve Pezant really works in the county jail or the county courthouse or the parish courthouse. He works primarily with the city courts. All right, that's his primary focus, city. So he develops a strong relationship, a close relationship, listening in on all the cases, all the hearings, every date that Judge Owsley's got set up for everybody. That once a month, where 100 people, 200 people that got arrested have to show up all at once on one day a month. So they just crowd them in, and they got a line outside the doors. It works great for Judge Owsley because that reduces how many people can actually witness what's happening in his court. All right, he crowds them once a month into the courthouse with 30 seats maybe, so that forces people to stand in line outside who can't listen in. And so they got a good system. Arrest as many people as you can, and then only have criminal court once a month, where you crowd them all together, and it just, I mean, the confusion, the congestion, it really works in the city court's favor, rather than stretching it out to more days within the month. To have a more intimate relationship with the defendants. Judge Owsley wants to make wants to like they're the farm animals and he's the farmer. He wants to separate that relationship by just, everybody's a big blur on one day a month. And Steve Pezant's there to sign us all in. Oh, what's your name? Travis Hines. Oh, let me find you. Let me check you off on the list. All right, there you are. You show up and you're not on the list. That's just, they crowd the courtroom at the city courts for the defendants. But if you wanted to just watch, now a proceeding like that herd that they gather for once a month, if you're not on the list, then you don't have a reason to be there. They'll encourage you just to go home. Just you don't belong there if that's if you wanted to just be an observer. So It's Steve Pezant. He's the crowd control. He's all experienced with this activity. Stuart Wright, Mike Wilson. I'm not quite sure. Mike Wilson. He's choosing a Democrat. He's choosing to be a Democrat. I don't know his backgrounds. He's going for sheriff. I have to look into it. But the experience that Steve Pezant has, he knows. I mean, he hauls people off to jail. He knows how the dirty system works, and he's not going to discuss that. You try to have a press conference with him and ask him about his dirty dealings. If I could sit down with Steve Pezant and interview him, that would be a blessing. That would be awesome. Maybe I could find a reason that he should be sheriff, maybe in the interview. But I would definitely have words to say with him. Where's my voice recorder, Steve? How can you sit through a trial? How could you sit through a criminal cases? And it's not just me. There's other guys who got denied lawyers. In fact, it seems like Judge Ousley's strategy is don't ask, don't tell. All right. When it comes to qualifying for a lawyer, don't ask, don't tell. That's Judge Ousley's strategy. Don't even talk. I had to bring it up, and see, with my strategy was I wanted to fight with paperwork as much as I could to try to save money on a lawyer, and then for trial have the lawyer. And I was begging for a lawyer on my trial day. That's all in the transcript. That's the first things that you see in my trial transcript. Me discussing with Judge Ousley how I got denied a lawyer, and it's not even clear to me, what the standards are to qualify. All Judge Ousley could say is, the office of the public defenders, they got a computer, it denied you. All right, that's it. And I went to the public defender's office. I saw that they also take care of dogs there. They got a computer. They let people into the office who aren't even paid employees, and that's where it's decided whether or not I get a free lawyer or not. It's amazing. And I recorded this guy in the public defender's office. I'm pretty sure he was an employee. He walked out with the dog, and even one of the lawyers there greeted the guy like it's a normal thing. They're trying to normalize misbehavior so much, deviance within their government system, within the public defender's office. There's no public defenders there. There's just some scrappy, rough-looking lady, and then like her boyfriend or something, and then the dog with all the dog toys, and then when he walks his dog outside and passes a lawyer, the lawyer's like, "Hey, how you doing?" Like this guy's an employee too, and then greets the dog, and it's just amazing, the system that they have set up, and we're looking at Steve Pezant, who's directly involved in this, who's looking for a higher position, because I think sheriff would be like a promotion from city marshal, right? Is that how it works? I mean, you do get elected as a city marshal, or there's only one city marshal. There's like 5 city marshals, but one city marshal is elected. And Steve didn't even, I don't even see, I guess city marshal isn't even something. This is an election coming up in October. I have to look at the dates. So next September, October, next month is an election. This is an election year in Louisiana, in Natchitoches Parish. And it's for specific positions: state representatives, sheriff, clerk of courts, assessor, coroner, parish president, council members, chief of police in the village of Provencal, alderman for village of Provencal. So there's nothing for city marshals, and city marshals get elected because Williams is the guy who he apparently got elected. So yeah, but that's not a position that's up for grabs this year. But the Natchitoches sheriff is up for election. So Steve Pezant is going for that, and you could see it, he's posting more on his Facebook, getting support. There's nobody who's got a bad word to say about this guy, especially when they can closely edit their pages. I'm sure my comments are gonna disappear. All right, just like on the sheriff's page. I don't think Steve Pezant is going to be someone who will allow my comments back on the sheriff's Facebook website. Stuart Wright definitely is behind blocking me from posting on the Natchitoches Parish Facebook. All right, so Stuart Wright's no good. Steve Pezant's no good. Mike Wilson, the Democrats. All right, maybe you could just simply vote Democrats in that town, and then get that covered. Don't vote NP if that is a choice on the ballots. If you're a local in Natchitoches Parish, how many people live in Natchitoches Parish? I haven't really looked into that too much. This is local elections, and I might have to go back. All right, I'm looking at going back. And if I have to go back with Steve as the sheriff, he's going to give me a hard time. He's going to continue to give me a hard time. Let's see. Okay, let's see. We got Natchitoches Parish. He'll be in a bigger position to give me a hard time if I have to go back to face the harmful Judge Owsley and his prosecutor Benjamin. See, Natchitoches, Louisiana Parish population. So I just tried to inform everyone here that this is a very concerning issue that I have a personal stake in. 36,000 people. So it's very concerning to me. That I have an active criminal case, and I might have to step foot back in Natchitoches over this criminal case, depending on what the Supreme Court has to say. And if Steve, right, if Pezant gets elected again, it may not be pretty for me. All right, he's made it clear that he's not a strong supporter of our constitutional rights. He'll go out of his way to say, Judge, wait a second, before you go back in your room, look at this. Travis has a voice recorder. And Judge Owsley's like, let's go back on record and see if we can give Travis some more time in jail. 30 days, 30 plus days. Depending on how I feel about this voice recorder. It's incredible how much they suppress information. And it's very concerning. I spent 26 days in jail eating a high fructose diet and reduced, or they reduced it. It's a good thing that they reduced the amount of food that we're allowed to eat, because it is so bad. Cookies and bologna for lunch every day. And Steve Pezant has no problem putting people in jail to be subject to the bad diets, the bad air, smoking, actually literally smoking weed on 420. I was in jail. Oh, I'm back. I'm back, and okay, I got cut off. I don't know if it's because I said the naughty word. That was concerning. So, yeah, I was subject to a lot. It's just the environment that were put in, the diets, the lack of exercise in the yard. For some reason, they limit your time in the yard considerably more than any other jail I've been in. I've been in 5 now, and in different states. So this is an election. Next month is an election year, election for Steve, and I highly recommend the Democrats, because there's 3 choices, and 2 of them are no good. Definitely no good. Just based on my own personal experience with Facebook and how they deal with suppressing information, and working closely with harmful judges. How many harmful judges? And maybe that's a status for the judges. They take a pride in getting the label of harmful, but still calling each other honorable. All right, that's like going from general to colonel, getting a demotion from general to colonel. A judge goes from honorable to harmful, but they could still, just because you get demoted doesn't mean you lose your job. It doesn't happen all the time in the military. Sometimes it does, but yeah, I don't think Judge Ousley should get an honorable discharge when he's finished with his 6-year term. All right, it should be less than honorable conditions, but he's not in the military. They don't care about the military. They probably, I think Steve Pezant just wanted something else to laugh at. Oh, you're a military veteran? Those are the funnest people to throw in jail. So that's how they want to work it, and then they want to pander to your votes if you live in the Natchitoches, Louisiana area. I should be voting I should be claiming that as my hometown, and voting from a distance by proxy, right? Am I allowed to vote outside of the area? And just, I'm a traveler, but I have ties to Natchitoches, Louisiana, so I should be able to vote outside of the area. What did Zapton say? If it's a good point, I gotta read it. Okay, people in prison get treated better than those in jail. Oh yeah, the serial killers, the murderers, they're offered McDonald's meals during their interviews. You see that on YouTube all the time. So, can I vote like is it called by proxy or by mail? Can I vote by mail for the other guy, for Mike? I should put in the description who Mike Wilson, who the alternate is that should be getting voted in, and not Steve. But I'm a traveler, but I can claim anywhere I've been as a home base. And right now, Natchitoches is pretty much it. I've been thinking about changing this channel name to Natchitoches, Louisiana versus Travis Hines, because it's still going on. We're still in debates. The prosecutor's got lively arguments that he's standing behind for the Supreme Court to decide upon. So this is not going away. This is not done. I have ties in that city, in that state still, and because of that, and I still have voting rights. I should also have the right to vote in that state, as I have this active criminal case as well, and I haven't claimed any other city or state. Vote by mail. I should be asking about that. Why not vote? Don't vote for Steve, of course. That's what I'm trying to say here. Vote for Michael Wilson. That's all I want to say. I could just write a little letter to the electors and say, I want to put my vote in for Michael Wilson. All right, or just the Democrats, and just leave and just see if they want to send me a form. Maybe I could fill something out online, and then work it that way. I'd register from a distance for Natchitoches, and then I'm not going to be voting in multiple cities, just one. So, I mean, this concerns me to see Steve Pezant. This guy is a bad human being. He's got a lot of explaining to do, which I don't think he'll do. I don't think he'll explain himself enough to ease anybody's concerns about his intentions as a sheriff of Natchitoches Parish. All right, it's very concerning. I think he's just gonna try to play a Joe Biden type of strategy. Say as little as possible. Just try to make yourself look as good as possible by saying as little as possible. Not actually getting down into the details of what he's about. I don't like the guy, and this is based on personal experience. So I'm just saying this and making a little video about it. So I have nothing else to say. All right. So any questions? I probably do have other things to say, but I can't think of them. So send the asteroid. Okay. Yeah, well, Louisiana's on fire. All right. They're announcing new fires every day. They're not getting a lot of rain, but this is a swampy area, very swampy area. They leave trash on the side of the road all over the place in Louisiana, especially in Natchitoches Parish. So a lot of these flammables, you'll see this fire is kind of a good thing for all the trash they have laying around on the sides of the roads. It's the only way they take care of trash. Fire is the only way they take care of trash in that state, in that county or parish. So, that's why I'm encouraging of it. Plus, I mean, I just don't trust their reports. They just kind of say, oh, this is 200 acres that's burnt, without showing maps, and they show pictures with, like, they got this string of pictures, 12 pictures, but 4 of them are like duplicates and triplicates. And I think it's just maybe a way to puff up the damage done. That way they can turn around and then beg the federal government to give them money to fight the fires or whatever. It's just something that they have no other ambitions to make legitimate money. They just want to scheme and then scheme and steal taxpayers' money. So I think I'll probably stop this. Do the real work. Okay. I'm gonna stop this. This has been a long time. So thanks for visiting.